Baseball has always been a game of numbers. We evaluate the players based on these numbers. But prior to the Moneyball era, many of these stats were deeply flawed. In many cases, we were judging greatness with stats that told us absolutely nothing. In this video, I break down the 10 stats I think are the worst and why. First up, pitcher wins. Many a Cy Young winner won the award because they were lucky enough to win 20 games. And yes, I said lucky. Play on a good team, get some good run support, and you're halfway there. But the differences between the best and worst scoring teams can be more than 2 runs per game. And the best defensive teams are making outs that go as hits against the weaker defending teams. This leaves a giant potential gap, helping or hurting individual pitchers. A 20-game winner might have wins where he gave up 6 earned runs, while another pitcher gives up 2 earned runs or less and picks up a loss because he gets no run support. Think Jacob deGrom. In essence, pitching wins is actually measuring team offense and defense more than pitching skill. 2010 marked the turn of the tide in my opinion. Felix Hernandez went 13-12 and won the Cy Young with his .227 ERA, 249 2/3 innings pitched, and 7.2 WAR, edging out David Price, who went 19-6, and CC Sabathia, who went 21-7. Next up, batting average. They say if you get out 7 times in 10, you're a Hall of Famer. But are all 300 hitters really the same? 3 singles in 10 hits slugs 300, while 3 home runs slugs 1,200. Better yet, 1 homer slugs 400. In 2024, Luis Arias hit 314 and Shohei Ohtani hit 310. Arias had an F-WAR of 1.1 to Ohtani's 8.9. This is despite Ohtani only being a DH that year and Arias being valuable on the defensive end. Batting average also ignores walks and slugging. Juan Soto's batting average was 26 points lower than Arias. He was a weak outfielder and his WAR was 8.3, again crushing Arias. Even if Arias would have won a batting title, he's far less valuable than a slugger who can also draw walks. Not all hits are equal, and that has become much more apparent in the Moneyball era. Third on the list is runs batted in. This stat was invented in 1880 by the Chicago Tribune. Ironically, it was dropped a few years later when readers complained the stat was unfair to certain players. Years later, it resurfaced, and in 1920 the National League officially adopted it before the start of the season. My main issue with RBIs is that it's based almost entirely on the quality of the lineup around you. Hit ninth or leadoff, you likely don't get a ton of RBI chances. Hit behind someone slow, like a catcher, they might never score on anything unless it's in the gap. RBIs are really a lineup stat in disguise. In 1996, Juan Gonzalez had 144 RBIs in 170 hits, an RBI ratio of 84.7, and he had a .318 average. In one of Ricky Henderson's best RBI totals, he hit .314 with 72 RBIs in 172 hits, a 41.8% ratio. Henderson had less than half of the RBI hit ratio of Gonzalez, despite having a WAR of 2.5 times higher. Fourth is runs scored, the flip side of RBIs. This stat relies on your team to hit you in. Ricky Henderson led the league in stolen bases and walks 4 times, but only led in runs scored in one of those seasons. Ichiro Suzuki set the all-time single-season hits record in 2004 with 262. He was second in the league in on-base percentage and second in steals. Despite this, he finished 17th in runs scored in the American League. An individual player can only do so much to hit themselves in, which makes runs scored another team stat. Fifth is ERA. ERA isn't a one-man stat. With elite fielders behind you, seeing eye singles become outs. With bad defense behind you, hitters can take extra bases, and balls that are caught by good defenders go as hits versus bad defenders. Granted, it's usually good pitchers who will have a low ERA, but if you look at the top 5 pitchers by ERA for the past 5 years, Their teams make the playoffs 16 out of 25 times. And yes, good teams have good pitchers, but when you check out the defensive runs saved by teams, these pitchers have an average defensive runs saved of 12.12. The average defense behind them should be 15 if it wasn't a factor. Instead, we find that low ERA pitchers also happen to pitch in front of above average defenders. In 2025, Cleveland Guardian Gavin Williams had an ERA of 3.06 and a fielding independent pitching of 4.39. Logan Webb of San Francisco had an ERA of 3.22 and a FIP of 2.6. Cleveland won their division. San Francisco finished third in theirs. Cleveland's defensive run saved was 7th. San Francisco's was 60. Would you trade Logan Webb straight up for Gavin Williams? 6th on the list, saves. The save was an arbitrary rule invented in 1969. The first year, there were 6 pitchers with 20 or more saves. 20 years later, there were 25 pitchers with 20 or more saves. For some reason, in 2025, there are still 21 pitchers with 20 or more saves. But there are many issues I have with saves as a stat. First, not all saves are equal. Bases loaded, no outs, up 1 is totally different than bases empty, up 3, 2 outs. Both are save situations. However, with a runner on third and no out, a run scores about 84.3% of the time. That means on average, this is going to result in a blown save over 80% of the time. Meanwhile, up 3 with 2 out will convert the save 992 times out of 1,000. That means that between these two save situations, one results in 8 blown saves per 1,000 and the other results in 843. This is the most extreme example, but it shows that saves are a weird way of trying to determine value. Second is the ERA of a save can be anywhere between 0 and 54. If you come into a game up 3 with 2 outs, you can give up 2 runs, get 1 out, and get a save. In fact, of the 17 closers to record a 50-save season, the lowest ERA is 1.20 by Eric Gagne in 2003, and the highest is 3.25 John Smoltz in 2002. On paper, both have 55 saves, but one was significantly better. In 2009, Brian Fuentes had 48 saves and an ERA of 3.93. In 2012, Fernando Rodney had 48 saves with an ERA of 0.60. In 2007, Joe Borowski had 45 saves with an ERA of 5.07. Yes, 5.07. You heard that right. Another problem with saves is inherited runners. A pitcher can come in up 3 with guys on first and second and 2 outs, let both runners score, load the bases again, finally get 1 out, and not only does he get a save, but he has a 0 ERA. Saves are also so specific that it requires your team to have a Goldilocks situation. Not too many runs up, and late enough in the game. By the way, the average team wins for a 50-save closer was 93. That means that you punish relievers who play for bad teams because they won't get as many chances. Overall, it's just a meaningless stat that really tells us nothing. 7th on this list, save percentage. This is just calculating the math of a bad stat. It doesn't factor in leverage or what the lead was or any other context. Remember, you can blow a save without an earned run, and you can earn a save with an ERA of 54. 8th on the list, innings pitched. It's an okay stat, but essentially doesn't mean a lot. In the last 50 years, 225 pitchers threw 250 or more innings in a season. The lowest ERA was 1.53, the highest 4.49. In fact, in 22 instances, these pitchers had losing records. Yet for some reason, it's considered one part of the pitching triple crown. 9th is fielding percentage. Many a gold glove was wrongfully handed out because of this stat. If you have no range or slow reaction time, but you field the ball as hit right at you, you could have a fielding percentage of 1,000. If your first baseman is great at picking balls in the dirt, he can keep you at 0 errors in 1,000. With the advent of StatCast and stats like defensive runs saved and ultimate zone rating, you can get a much clearer picture of how good defenders are compared to their peers at their respective positions. After all, you can't make an error on a ball you never reach. Last on the list is stolen bases. This isn't to say that stealing bases isn't valuable, but there are some problems with how it's calculated. First, it's a counting stat that ignores caught stealing. For example, Steve Sachs had 56 steals in 1983 and was caught 30 times for a 65% success rate. He definitely cost his team more runs than he added. In 1988, Harold Reynolds stole 35 bases and was thrown out 29 times. In 1991, Brett Butler stole 38 bases and got thrown out 28 times. Just looking at steals, and these numbers appear solid, but all of them took wins from their team with their base running. The other problem with steals is caught stealing. It doesn't account for botched hit and runs, or how being the trailer on a double steal could inflate steal success numbers. Well, that's my list. Baseball tracked this stuff for 100 years, and half of it told us nothing. What are your thoughts? Do you disagree with any of them? Is there a more overrated stat out there that I missed? Let me know in the comments.